Abraham Pig here, and what I have for you today is a Banham M2002. This is not a picking video, so sorry if that's what you were expecting, but I have seen a number of folks pick this on camera recently, and when they were gutting it, I noticed something that I wanted to talk about that I hadn't seen anybody else mention. So if you, at least on this format, if you put in the key and you turn the lock at 180 degrees, it catches a little, but you can't pull the key out, and you have to go a full 360 if you want to remove the key, and it's the same on both sides of the lock. The key only comes out in the same orientation that you put it in. So let's put the pig over here and take the lock apart and see how that actually works. I've already hammered the pin out partly to make this disassembly easier, so let's take off the drill protection, and I'll take out the set screws over here. There are two set screws, one behind the other. And then there is a little pin which sometimes drops out, and sometimes I have to give it a tap. There we go. And now the core comes right out, and with it a little wafer that likes to fall out. It did for me just as it has for a lot of other people doing guttings. It actually sits in chamber number 2 on the right side in my core, and the wafer is actually what I wanted to talk about. So a number of folks have mentioned it, but no one seems to know what it's for, and I think I've figured it out. So if we tap it out and put the key in and look at how the pins move when you withdraw the key from fully inserted, you can see that some of them pop out quite a lot, but some do not, and that is tied to the bitting. So position 2 here, the one with the wafer, is actually like a minimum cut. It's almost not cut at all. So when you start withdrawing the key, the little pin on this side almost doesn't move. But on the opposite side of the same position, the pin jumps out quite a lot, the maximum amount. So the presence of the wafer here on this side actually is a way to prevent you from removing the key when the core is rotated 180. So with the wafer in position 2, we can easily withdraw the key because the pin on this side is short and doesn't interfere with the wafer. But now if we rotate the core 180 and try to pull the key out, it tries to shove the wafer out of the core. And if that's in the lock body, the wafer can't move like that, so the key cannot be withdrawn. So to confirm what I'm talking about, let's reassemble this without the wafer and see that indeed we will be able to withdraw the key in both orientations. When reassembling this, as Locknoob, whose video I watched recently, pointed out, you have to be careful inserting the pin to get it actually into the little hole in the core. If you misalign it and tighten the screw down, you can damage the lock. So the easiest way I've found to do that is to put a little bit of weight on the pin, and then with the key partly withdrawn so that you're moving the whole core, not just rotating the inner part. You wiggle it around until you get the pin to settle down into the hole, and then you will not be able to wiggle the core anymore. And I am not being successful right now. There we go. So it stopped wiggling, and now you can put the rub screws back in. But, you cannot tighten the first grub screw all the way down, at least on my lock, or the core seems to start dragging when you turn the key. So I tighten it all the way down, and then I back off like a quarter turn to a half a turn before I put in the second set screw. and then it seems to work nicely. That might also be why there are two set screws, so that they can be tight against each other without being tight against the pin, which just floats inside the body, not rubbing against anything. Okay, so now the core turns, and we can withdraw it in the key in the normal position or the 180 degree position. So again, normal position, 180 degree position, and that's because we've removed this little wafer. And on the opposite side of the lock, oops, I've got it upside down and it won't engage the actuator right now. I think I've reassembled something slightly incorrectly, and the actuator is not engaging on the back side. Well, I will fix that off camera, but I think I've shown you what I wanted to show you, so that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.